The victory at Jericho was a spectacle of the supernatural. The Israelites marched, the walls crumbled, and the city fell without a single tactical maneuver. But the first attempt on the small city of Ai shattered that momentum. A minor local force routed the Israelite army, leaving the nation paralyzed by a defeat they didn't see coming. In the wake of this failure, the instructions from God change. There is no promise of a miracle this time. Instead, Joshua is commanded to take his entire combat force and execute a conventional, high-stakes military operation. The Divine Strategy commentary suggests this shift was a necessity for a fragile nation. By requiring every soldier to participate in a complex plan, the victory is stripped of individual ego. It prevents any one warrior from claiming the success was theirs alone, forcing the nation to see the victory as a collective restoration. The Bible records that, after the first defeat at Ai, the hearts of the people melted and became like water. To counter this, Joshua is told to deploy 30,000 elite troops against a target that originally seemed to require only 3,000. This overwhelming show of force is designed to replace that internal panic with the rigid discipline of a massive, coordinated campaign. It creates a unique tension in the narrative. God, who had just leveled the massive walls of Jericho with a shout, now demands that Joshua engage in a subtle, grueling game of human military deception to take a tiny mountain town. Under the cover of night, Joshua splits his forces, sending a massive detachment deep into the rocky wilderness to wait in a hidden position. The geography of the trap is precise. The city of Ai sits in the center of the valley. To the west, hidden behind the ridgeline, Joshua stations his ambush force. To the north, in plain view of defenders, he establishes the main camp. But the Talmud notes a spiritual interruption on the eve of the battle. An angel appears to Joshua in the valley, not to offer tactical advice, but to deliver a sharp rebuke. The angel confronts Joshua for neglecting the evening study of the Torah amidst the rush of war. In response, the text says Joshua spent the night delving into the depths of halakha, or Jewish law, right there in the shadow of the enemy. The image is a study in contrasts. A general on the brink of a massive ambush, choosing to spend his final hours of preparation immersed in a sacred scroll rather than a map. It suggests that the Israelite paradigm of a warrior requires mastery of the internal spiritual world before the first blow is ever struck in the physical one. At dawn, the main force moves. Joshua leads his northern troops toward the gates, only to turn and flee in a feigned panic. The king of Ai, convinced he is seeing a repeat of the first battle, empties the city to pursue them. Once the defenders are drawn deep into the wilderness, Joshua raises his javelin, the signal for the hidden ambush to emerge. They storm the empty city and immediately set it ablaze. This illustrates the resulting pincer movement. The defenders of Ai suddenly find themselves sandwiched between two forces, their own burning city to the west and Joshua's main army, which has now stopped its retreat and turned to fight from the east. Rabbeinu Bachya defines this as Sibah Lanes, the natural cause for a miracle. The theology here suggests that God prefers success to be earned through human logic and strategic effort. In this model, hishtadlut, or intense human effort, is not the opposite of a miracle. It is the vessel that must be built to receive one. With the battle finished, Joshua does not pause to loot the city or establish a garrison. Instead, he marches the entire nation immediately to Mount Ebal. The commentator Abarbanel notes that this was a corrective move. The spiritual failure that led to the first defeat at Ai had to be addressed. Joshua needed to re-establish the national covenant at the very moment of their military success. On the mountain, they build an altar of unhewn stones, upon which Joshua etches a copy of the Torah. It is a symbolic statement of priority. The first permanent Israelite structure built in the land is an altar of text, not a fortress of war. The nation takes its position across the landscape. 6 tribes stand on Mount Gerizim and 6 on Mount Ebal, creating a massive human amphitheater. Positioned at the exact center of this valley floor are the Kohanim, the Levites, and the Ark. From the valley floor, the Levites pronounce the blessings and the curses of the law. After each statement, the tens of thousands of people standing on the mountains above roar back a unified Amen, their voices echoing through the valley. By the end of the day, the nation has moved from the smoke of a destroyed city to the recitation of a sacred covenant. Joshua has treated the victory in the valley and the altar on the mountain as 2 halves of a single mission, proving that for this nation, the sword is only as strong as the book that guides it.